it's not a small feat, especially when you have a lot of new music, because when you're playing an hour and a half set, it's easy to sort of inject one or two new tracks, each week, to change it up a bit. But when you're doing a 6-hour set, I really have to sort of, it's the beauty of the USBs too, is we can put things in folders. So I'll sort of have like 20 things for the first hour. I'll only play 10 or 12, 20 things for the second hour, 20 things for the third hour. So I don't plan my sets, but you have to sort of arrange it by sort of style of the night, Deep house, tech house, like really sort of chill stuff to kind of tease people into it without giving it away too much. And then that leads into, full-on peak techno and trance. And then I ended with like hot, Infinity Inc., Hot Creation record at 126 at the end of the night. So brought it right back down to the most chill, deep stuff. And the crowd didn't move, they didn't leave, which was really, really cool to see. Trance fans come out for a night that was basically 10 or 15% trance, 20% techno, 20% tech house, and some classics. It's just so much fun to, I don't want to eat sushi every night, and when I do eat sushi, I don't want to have 30 salmon rolls. Like, you want variety for me. A trance breakdown sounds great after 3 or 4 techno tracks versus after 3 or 4 trance breakdowns. So for me, it just, that same just doesn't sound right. So the preparation takes a little while. I like to dig back to the New York set had tracks from 2006, 2007, not classics, but obscure stuff that just people thought were new records, which is cool. One of the benefits that I had that I think a lot of the young producers touring now don't have is I had a residency. I had a residency at Atomic in Ottawa where it was just me for 8 hours every week, and the only variable each week was the music. It was the same crowd. It's just like here, you have sort of a family crowd that comes every week, like you have a lot of regulars. The sound is the same, the light's the same, staff's the same, the environment is the same. The only thing that changed was what I chose to play. So I could really test out what worked and see what moved people and what grabbed people. And that really helped me sort of craft that ability to, go through the whole night and keep people and learn to be patient and not play. Patience is one of the biggest. Opening DJs playing records that should be played at 4 in the morning, but they just can't wait and they have to play it early, then it just sets the wrong tone for the night, So being patient, and Digweed will wait 8 hours to play his biggest record, and that's, to me, what it's all about. Make them wait, keep them there, but just have that patience. Getting a good residency, even at a small club, where you can really learn to build that. Everyone wants to go in and do the 1 hour main stage banger sets, but that's not my thing. Watching other people is great too. Go and watch someone like Danny Howells or John Digweed, or someone that can really craft a long set, and watch how patient they are, or watch how slow they are. You notice the difference between producers who haven't been DJs and producers who have. And you can tell, when you've worked with a dance floor for years, when you go in the studio what works, what doesn't, and how to really stretch things out and tease things and arrange things properly to keep that dance floor going. And I find now a lot of the young producers are making great stuff, but like they don't have intros that DJs can use, and because they don't understand that, and the track is either too long or you almost need a DJ who understands the dance floor to go in the studio with some of these guys and really, show them the best way to make it for the dance floor. But then a lot of the producers making great stuff anyway, and then going on tour themselves and seeing what works and going back into the studio and getting even better. So it's not like if you don't DJ, you can't make a song, because that's been proved. There's so many amazing producers that aren't DJs. And there were back in the day. There were two totally separate things. The producers were great. But I think for me, my DJing really helped me understand how to arrange a song, what works best for the dance floor. It's weird because that was a group effort with Raz and Adrian, songwriters in the Netherlands. But their lyrics don't always make sense, and I am sometimes like, but there's a hook in there and there's a loop in there that you just attach to, and then I did The Shadows Disappear, and I sort of cut that out and then repeated it towards the end, and that became, the hook that a lot of people remembered. And it's crazy how the lyrics don't have to really make sense. If you actually break it down, you're sort of like, what?
I know.
But it works. The way she sings it, the melody and the hook you pick out of it, it really works. I'm not a formula guy, I don't sit down and say, okay, it has to follow this formula. This was a track where I was like, I'm going to make something for me that no one else is probably going to like, but I want something dark and weird for my sets. And you know, you make records sometimes like, you know, Nothing Else Matters and the vocal stuff, and you're like, okay, is this going to make it onto Assad? Is this going to make it onto Beatport Top 10? Is this going to be, you know, are we going to get a video done? Is it going to be that kind of track? This track, Evil Idea, I was just like, I don't care about any of that. I'm just going to make something for me to play. And then Armada was actually like, no, we can't release this because it's too dark, it's too weird. So we laugh about it now. And they were like, people want happy music. This isn't very, you know, this isn't. And so we joke about it now. I said, I went and played it. And then I had some Twitter reactions to it. And I sent those to Armada and they were like, all right, let's release it. And of course now it's been in every Armin set for the last year. So yeah, he played it at every festival. Like, it's been probably my biggest record in a few years, which is funny when you make something for yourself with no regard for the charts. It does better than when you try to make things to fit the charts. So it just goes to show, just do your own thing and follow your own insides rather than letting your brain get in the way. What I'm quite proud of too is it doesn't have any of the sort of cliche trendy sounds right now, you know, like the clap on every kick, or you know, that a lot of guys are doing to try to fit in with the main stage stuff. And you know, not to rip on my peers, but I'm kind of happy that I didn't go that route and we had such a successful track. I heard a track of his called Naked, and it was the sound I was looking for. And this was after I'd taken that year off and I came back to you know, trance had changed a bit. And I messaged him on Facebook. I'm like, who are you and when can we work together? You know, I had Rebrand and he was looking for a new home. He was in psytrance, but he was looking to come over to the more sort of progressive trance arena. So I said, well, come work with us at Rebrand. And then, you know, I played his stuff for Armin and for Armada, and they loved it too. And now, you know, he's done remixes for all the big guys. So we're good friends now. We tour together sometimes. We produce together. We just did a remix for Gabriel in Dresden. We're doing a collaboration right now for his album. We're actually just doing it when we're back at the hotel. We work over Dropbox over the internet because he's in South Africa and I'm in Amsterdam. So the internet makes it so easy for us to be able to work together. But he's super talented. Him in the studio he's so talented. It's so easy for him. You know, he bangs tracks out like it's nothing. He's really, really good. Something like that has to be planned. And I laid out the tracks the way I thought it should work. Nate was away, and then Nate came in and said, okay, we're going to change this, we're going to change this. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. So we had like a track, an obscure track at the end, and we changed it. He added Grace, Not Over Yet. And it just, you know, together we both listened to it and made a couple of little changes. And then you can't sort of freestyle a set that short. Has to be choreographed, it has to be sort of planned out. Especially with such a big broadcast, because you don't want to run out of time, be thinking, oh, what should we play next? No, it has to be like set up. So, you know, we had a techno track in there. Like, I wanted a few different elements, and it ended up working out really well. We weren't expecting the reaction that we got. It's funny because Mexico were a little upset when the DJs were announced, because they wanted like Orjan Nilsen and they wanted some other people, and after we played, no one was talking about that anymore. Everyone was like, okay, they earned their spot, they deserved it. I think that was the first time I played the Evil ID. I snuck it on the show a couple of times, but that was the first time I played it live. January 17th. And it has 2 new songs of mine, which you'll probably hear tonight, and a few other nice surprises. It's a single CD, it comes out January 17th, and then we're going to be doing a North American tour the end of January, February, and March. So hopefully we can get back to Seattle for Open to Close. I think my problem was being almost too diverse. I didn't really decide on one thing and focus on it, but also I got caught up in you know, trying to look at what was successful and what wasn't, rather than just following my heart. And I think you have to just be original, do your own thing, and find a crowd that will follow it, rather than trying to fit into all these different, you know, trying to, well, what's hot? I got to do that. I got to do that. People can see right through that. I have to go. I'm on the decks in 10 minutes. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I just want to tell you, my friends, Seattle, we love you so much. Like, truly, thank you for speaking so much to your fans. It means a lot to us.
Awesome.
People are freaking out about Cycles Radio because they love the fusion of tech and trance.
Awesome. Well, the growth has been crazy with Cycles Radio, so I can't complain.
Thank you for the opportunity.
There you go. I'll give you that. Thank you, guys. Thank you.